This is the Breakaway. For those watching on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, welcome along. Sam Bennett with a win on stage 3 with Nicolas Roche in the red jersey, beating his record of a single day at the lead of the Vuelta in 2013. He doubles that tally today. Well, Irish eyes will certainly be smiling in Alicante tonight. Nicolas Roche then, the leader of the Vuelta a España once again, with Nairo Quintana keeping that 2-second neck-breathing distance behind him. Rigoberto Urán is at 8 seconds with Mikel Nieve 22 seconds back. Miguel Angel Lopez in the white jersey and 33 seconds back, with Primoz Roglic just half a minute, give or take, off the lead. Well, Bradley and Brian are here for Bradley's last ever breakaway for a few days, at least anyway. And well, the Irish have given you a send-off, at least.
Yeah. You can always count on the Irish.
You can always count on the Irish for a party. Sam Bennett's win, Bradley, we saw him come of age really at the Giro D'Italia last year with 3 stage wins. This really consolidates his position as one of the top sprinters in the world, doesn't it?
Definitely, and not just at the Grand Tours. He's very consistent through the year. I think this is his 12th win this season, which is phenomenal as a professional cyclist to win 12 races in a season. And it's almost gone unnoticed in terms of, because we speak more about the disappointment of him losing out on that place at the Giro this year. So brilliant. He's picked up the first one. I expect him to win another stage at some point during this race.
Well, yeah, it wasn't inevitable though. Sorry to interrupt you, but you know, we talk about he was a favourite before we came into the stage, and it's almost as if it was a foregone conclusion. But with all the pressure that comes with knocking on that Grand Tour door all year, comes that responsibility then to deliver.
And he has stepped up a lot. And I think this year he'll look back at probably the turning point in his whole career. We know he's capable of winning stages at Grand Tours. He did that many times at the Giro D'Italia last year. But it's having to wait all year to the Vuelta. But not just waiting, he's winning other races. And a lot of the top sprinters, they hone their form for the kind of Grand Tour, the Tour de France, and so a lot of the time they get beat in other smaller races. Sam's a winner. He's a racer. And every time he races, gets a sniff of a victory, he'll take it with both hands.
Well, I asked on Twitter, we weren't entirely sure. We suspected it was the first time in history, really, that we'd seen one Irish stage winner while another holds the leader's jersey. We've had a few answers on that. Alan Mackey amongst them, thank you very much. He points out that in 1988 at the Vuelta, the time trial in stage 20, it was Sean Kelly who won and was the race leader, but 2 separate riders. We think was possible today is possibly the first time. I mean, that's quite a lot for our wee country, isn't it?
It is. It definitely happened in the Nissan Classic, which was the race in the 80s. I don't think, well, it's never happened in a Grand Tour, which shows actually how good Irish are. We spoke before about you know, the void that was left after those. I mean, what a pair of shoes to fill on both those, Stephen Roche and of course Sean Kelly. But these guys are now doing it, you know, and Nicolas Roche is the race leader, and Sam Bennett and winning the stage today, so superb.
Well, I've got my Twitter feed handy here, and I can tell you that Sam Bennett will be joining us in just a few moments' time. So if you have any tweets, any questions, get them into us using the hashtag #TheBreakaway or @SportsOrla. Brian, Nicolas Roche, a quick word on him as well, because his second day in the red jersey, we saw him crossing the line here, and he got a big hug and a smile from Wout Poels, which was a lovely gesture. He's a popular wearer of the leader's jersey, isn't he?
He is, and he actually got a kind of congratulations from David de la Cruz as well for up to many as he put his arm round him, which was nice to see. Nicolas Roche is very popular within the peloton, and that's very important. And
it comes from his past. He's always been a brilliant teammate, hasn't he, as well?
Yes, and the thing is, even in interviews for the press, he's doing an interview in English, French, Spanish, and that helps. That helps to get fans. But I think there's a huge amount of sentiment for the likes of Nicolas Roche, because he was in it for one day many years ago, 6 years ago. And now I think, he said yesterday in the podium, he got a sense of emotion. It's one of these things when you do something the first time, you get caught up in it all. The second time it comes around, you kind of take it in a little bit, and it was nice to hear that sentiment from him, that he just got this wave of emotion about putting it on for the second time in his career. Absolutely brilliant.
And as you say, Bradley, he has been a super domestique for a number of years. He helped Chris Froome to a Grand Tour, Alberto Contador. I was going to ask you a question, but you might as well save our questions for the man of the moment, Sam Bennett. Welcome, Sam. Congratulations. It's wonderful to see that Irish jersey coming across the line first. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm delighted. A lot of pressure's off now. I felt so bad during the stage that I'm just relieved to get this.
How much pressure was there on you coming into today then? Because we all shared your disappointment at being left out of the Giro squad, and you, I guess, understood that there wouldn't be a spot on the Tour de France squad. But coming into this, having knocked at that door all season, brings that pressure, doesn't it? We've just been talking about it.
Yeah, there's pressure all year, and then I suppose after last week people expected this, and then that brings extra pressure, and then also I had pressure for myself, and that always seems to be the worst pressure. But yeah, I'm just happy to get this now.
I was saying before, Sam, that you're fast becoming one of the fastest men in the world now once you get a bit of open road. And in that squad Bora now, it must be a difficult prospect to think, because you're ready for a Tour de France stage win, aren't you? But with, of course, the biggest name in cycling in Peter in your team, that's quite a difficult thing to make that team, isn't it, next year?
Yeah, it's getting pretty crowded in there. But yeah, I don't know what I can say to that.
And did you have a little bit of pressure today about delivering this sprint? Because after yesterday, I assume you sat up intentionally.
I'd love to say that I did sit up intentionally, but no.
We never know what's going on, really.
Just say that, it sounds better.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I decided to save the legs for today, and yeah.
But the thing is, I covered the Bing Bang Tour with Eurosport, and I've noticed recently, especially this year, you keep on maturing in sprinting, and you seem to have gone up a level when it comes to not using your train, but jumping onto the, not a train, but the right train to deliver your sprint at the end. You seem to have that knack.
I think it's a lot of years of making mistakes, but also I'm just getting stronger each year, and when you're stronger in the final, it's like everything slows down because you're not on the limit. When you're on the limit, you can't make those decisions, and the moment passes before you get it. Like you get on the right wheel. So it's just about getting stronger, and then just gets easier.
Sam, we've been talking a little bit about the gap in Irish cycling after the likes of Sean Kelly and Stephen Roche, and Michael on Twitter has been asking who was your inspiration coming into the sport.
Yeah. It should be Sean Kelly, but unfortunately when I was younger...
He's listening.
Yeah,
Sean, he's not listening, it's fine.
Sean Kelly was just a sports centre, so... I think I didn't realise how great Sean was until I went abroad. And when I raced those races, I'd asked how many times did he win this, then I realised how amazing he was. When I was growing up, it was like Tom Boonen and Robbie McEwen on the scene, and they were the guys I was really watching, but I think I really admire Sean for what he's done and what he's done for the sport at home.
How special is it to take this stage today with Nicolas Roche, your compatriot, in the overall leader's jersey? That's quite something for everyone back in Ireland.
Yeah, I'm just very proud to give the Irish something to cheer for, something for them to cheer for in the mountains and in GC and in the sprints as well. So it's a great time.
Sam, I wanted just to have a look around you here and look at all of these people who are here just to see you. How does this compare with your 3 wins at the Giro D'Italia?
Yeah, I think it's funny how many Irish are here, and there weren't that many in the Giro, but it's nice.
They've all just come out of the pubs, don't they? They're not.
But yeah, it's just it's nice, it's encouraging. Yeah.
Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. We can actually hear now from the man we've been talking about as well, Nicolas Roche, who is still in the red jersey for a second day.
Nico, always to be back in red. How was the first day in red today? And especially you will have it a second time now.
Yeah, quite happy. One day more than the last time. But no, today was a good day. It was quite a nervous stage. A lot of tension. We rode safely up the front. And in the end, there was no big issue, but it was quite nervous and stressful all day long.
Tomorrow we expect an easy stage, but actually the weather schedule is not that good. Do you think it's going to be a tricky one?
I think so. You know, in this region, the wind plays a big role. The roads are quite open, so you're going to have to be on your toes all the time.
How do you feel in this Vuelta? Every day we feel like something can happen. Today we didn't really expect the wind. Tomorrow we will see about the rain maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't expect also attacks on the climb, 50k to go today, which was quite some tactic. But so you have to be always aware, always ready, always in the front, and that's the difficulty of riding a 3-week stage.
Thank you. Hope to see you for a third day in a row tomorrow.
Was smiling, very happy. Nico Roche has just gone past us behind to go to the podium. He has doubled his record of the number of days in the red jersey. Bradley, you are going to be leaving us after today. You'll be back.
I will be back.
What can we expect, do you think, in your absence in terms of the race?
Well, I think the race is going to take off in earnest Wednesday. I think Wednesday's our next rendezvous for the GC.
You're going to be calling me every day and letting me know what's going to happen?
Yeah. I will be watching the race. I will be reading the start list, learning all the names.
Yeah, it's good to get there by the end of the race at least.
So yeah, I think this Vuelta's going to get tougher and tougher now. There's not going to be too many stages like this. You know, this was a relatively easy stage, even though the likes of Gaviria that got dropped today.
Brian, do we think we can see Nico trebling his record and staying in red for a third day?
It's not going to be easy tomorrow, because tomorrow's not an easy stage, and I don't think any stage in the Vuelta from now on for a few days is going to be easy. But let's keep Irish fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, stage 4 then coming up next, and it gives us a rare thing indeed at the Vuelta of España. It's a flat stage, relatively speaking at least. It's one of the flattest of the race this year. But this is the Vuelta, so the 175.5-kilometre loop around Valencia from Cuera to El Puig is a rolling one, all the same, with the Puerto del Ornet taking us up 5.8 kilometres at an average gradient of 4.5%. After that, though,